Thinking about moving closer to your grandkids? It sounds like the perfect next chapter, doesn't it? Trading distance for daily hugs, becoming an integral part of their lives, and soaking up every precious moment. It's the dream so many of us have. Before you call the movers and start packing boxes, let's take a moment together. Let's pause and have a real, honest conversation about this huge life decision. Because while the dream is beautiful, the reality can be far more complex than we imagine. I've spoken with so many people who have made this move, and while some are overjoyed, many have shared with me the unexpected challenges and even deep regrets. So today, we're going to explore 5 reasons why moving to be near your grandkids might not be the fairytale ending you hoping for. This isn't about crushing dreams, it's about making sure your next chapter is truly your best one, with your eyes wide open. Let's start with the first, and perhaps most common, unexpected reality. Your kids are busy, and you might find yourself waiting by the phone. You move with this beautiful vision of spontaneous drop-ins, after-school pickups, and lazy weekend afternoons together. You imagine your calendar filled with school plays, soccer games, and impromptu family dinners. But the reality of modern family life is often a whirlwind of activity. Your adult children are juggling demanding careers, their own social lives, household chores, and the relentless schedule of their kids' activities. They love you dearly, but their lives are already packed to the brim. So, you might find yourself in a new town, sitting in your new home, waiting for a call or a text that says, "Are you free?" You might feel like you're on standby, a supporting character waiting for your cue in their very busy lives. This can lead to a quiet, creeping resentment, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because your expectation of constant togetherness clashes with the reality of their jam-packed schedules. The dream was to be needed every day, but the reality might feel more like being a convenient, on-call babysitter. It's a subtle but profound difference that can leave you feeling more lonely than you ever were when you lived miles away. This leads us directly to the second major challenge, the loss of your own established life. Think about where you live now. Think about the cashier at your local grocery store who knows your name, the neighbor you chat with while gardening, your weekly coffee group, your book club, your volunteer work. These threads, woven over years, even decades, create a strong, supportive social fabric. This is your community. It is a network of casual acquaintances and deep friendships that provides a sense of belonging and identity completely separate from your role as a parent or grandparent. When you move, you cut all those threads at once. You land in a new place where you are, essentially, a stranger. Rebuilding that kind of network in your 50s, 60s, or 70s is not impossible, but it is a significant undertaking. It takes time, energy, and a willingness to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, again and again. You're no longer just popping down to the local cafe where everyone knows you. You're starting from scratch. This can be incredibly isolating, especially if your family is as busy as we just discussed. You've left a rich, full life behind, only to find yourself in a new town where your primary, and perhaps only, social connection is your busy family. The third point is a delicate but crucial one, the danger of building your entire life around your family. It's natural to want to be close to them, to make them the center of your world. But what happens when your world shrinks to only include them? Your happiness becomes entirely dependent on their availability, their moods, and their needs. If they go on vacation, you're left alone. If they have a busy week at work, your week is empty. This level of dependency isn't healthy for you, and honestly, it can put a lot of unspoken pressure on your kids and grandkids. They might start to feel guilty for having their own lives, for not including you in every single plan. This can strain the very relationship you move to nurture. A healthy, thriving life in our later years requires multiple sources of joy, purpose, and connection. You need your own hobbies, your own friends, your own interests that light you up. When your identity is solely the grandparent who lives down the street, you risk losing the vibrant, multifaceted person you are. Your life becomes a reaction to theirs, instead of a creation of your own. Now, let's talk about the practical side of things, because it's huge. The financial and logistical strain of moving is our fourth point. Uprooting your life is expensive, period. There are the obvious costs: real estate commissions, moving trucks, closing costs, setting up utilities. But then there are the hidden costs. The cost of living in your kid's trendy suburb might be significantly higher than where you are now. Property taxes could be double. You might need to buy a new car if you're re-moving from a walkable city to a place that requires driving everywhere. These financial pressures can add a tremendous amount of stress right at a time in your life when you might be hoping to simplify and enjoy your retirement. And it's not just about money. It's the sheer physical and emotional exhaustion of it all. Downsizing a lifetime of memories, sorting through possessions, the endless paperwork, and the chaos of unpacking in a new, unfamiliar space. It is a monumental task. If the move doesn't immediately result in that idyllic life you pictured, you can be left feeling financially strained, physically drained, and emotionally depleted, asking yourself, was all of this really worth it? Finally, let's touch on the fifth and most personal point, the shift in your identity. In your old town, you were you. You were Jane, the master gardener. You were Tom, the guy who ran the local historical society. You had an identity built over a lifetime of experiences, accomplishments, and relationships. When you move to be near the grandkids, you risk that identity being unintentionally erased and replaced with a single label, grandma or grandpa. To the new people you meet, in the new neighborhood, that's who you are first and foremost. Your adult children, with the best of intentions, might introduce you that way. This is my mom. She moved here to be closer to the kids. It's a subtle shift, but it can feel like a profound loss. You become an accessory to your children's family unit rather than the independent, interesting individual you have always been. This isn't their fault, it's just a natural social dynamic. But it can chip away at your sense of self-worth. It is vital to ask yourself, am I ready for my primary social identity to be the grandparent? Or do I still need and want to be seen for the whole, complex, fascinating person I am, outside of my family role? So, what's the answer? Do I think you should never move to be near your grandkids? Absolutely not. For some, it is the best decision they've ever made. But it's a decision that needs to be made with a clear head and a realistic heart. The solution isn't to abandon the dream, but to reimagine it. Maybe the answer isn't moving into their neighborhood, but moving to a vibrant town an hour or two away. A place with its own attractions, its own community, a place where you can build your own life, but still be close enough for frequent, meaningful visits. Or maybe it's about trying before you buy. Could you rent an apartment in their town for 6 months? Experience a full cycle of seasons and see what the reality of daily life feels like before you sell your family home and make a permanent leap. Talk openly and honestly with your children about expectations on both sides. Ask them, what does you wanting us to move closer really look like, day to day? Have the tough conversations. This isn't about being negative. It's about being wise. It's about honoring the full, rich life you've already built and ensuring your next chapter is one of addition, not subtraction. You deserve a life filled with joy, purpose, and connection from many sources, with your grandchildren being a beautiful and important part of that, but not the only part. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. This is a huge topic, and I know it brings up a lot of emotions. If this resonated with you, please consider subscribing to The Modern Elder for more conversations about navigating this chapter of life with wisdom and grace. I'd love to hear your own experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Have you made this move? Are you thinking about it? Let's continue the conversation. Thanks for watching.